Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching me around the world. My name is Seun Akinlotan, and I will be your host for tonight as we discuss your role in nation building. The word your actually includes you and I because I believe that we all have a part to play in building our country, Nigeria. Nothing great was ever achieved by accident. The great countries we admire today were built by the sacrifices of men and women, young and old, who proposed in their hearts to make it great. So I believe that if we want to make Nigeria great, the roles we play, we all need to become significant part of it. Join me today as I welcome Queenette Enilama. She's a bold child advocate, dyslexia tutor, voiceover expert, compare extraordinary, author, and most importantly, she's a concerned and bona fide citizen of Nigeria. Join me in welcoming Queenette Enilama. Is Queenette here? Oh, hi, Queenette.
Yay!
Hi. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome. Welcome. Thank you for
Thank
joining us.
you. Welcome.
Yes,
Welcome everyone who's joining us. Welcome.
welcome. We welcome you all. So I welcome Ifedakpo. Ifedakpo is here. Where is Ifedakpo watching from? Can we know where you're watching from? We have Oluwatosin, Olajumoke, Arodudu, Tolulokpe, Shoboyejo, Oluwole. Thank you all for
Wow.
joining. Please go ahead and share this video with your friends and family because it's about to go down. I hope everyone is doing well. It's been a very stressful week. Yes. QT. See, QT, you have fans, though. It's okay.
Ifedakwa, thank you. Good to see you.
Yes.
Oluwatosin, good to see you. Tolulokwe, good to see you. Thank you so much. And like she has said, please share the videos with people. Let them come and watch, and then we can get this party started.
Yes. So, Queenette, before we get started, I know that we had a stressful week. It was stressful physically, mentally, financially, all the leads in the world. How are you doing today? I don't want a generic answer. Just tell me, how are you doing, Queenette?
Um, quite frankly, I think I am I am a lot better today than I was yesterday, or I'm a lot better this hour than I was a couple of hours ago. So we're pushing with faith and
Amen.
hope in our hearts, and we just keep pushing. But I think I'm okay. I'm okay. I would say I'm okay, really, but yeah, but I'm okay.
Yes. All right. That's fine. So let's get this started because we have a lot to cover tonight.
Okay.
Nigeria gained independence in 1960, and we've passed through 13 presidents, even though two of them came back the second time,
So let's
right?
just say let's just say we passed through 15 actually.
Okay, we've passed through 15 presidents, starting from Nnamdi
That's
Azikwe,
make you way.
Major General
Agoye
Agumi
Ronsi,
Irodu, General Yakubu Gowon, Shehu Shagari,
Shagari,
General Ibrahim Babangida,
Olusegun
who else?
Obasanjo,
Olusegun
Enesho,
Obasanjo,
Eneshonekan
Murtala
interim government,
Mohammed, Yakubu Gowon, Ernest Shonekan, General Sani Abacha, Abdusalami Abubakar,
Abubakar, then back
uh,
again to Olusegun Obasanjo,
Obasanjo, Umaru
then
Musa Yaradua, Goodluck
Jonathan,
Jonathan,
back again
Muhammadu
to the
Buhari.
Buhari
Hmm.
administration.
We've gone through 15 presidents and we are still where we are. Queenette, what do you think the problem of Nigeria is?
I wish I had a bottle of water to drink first before I start talking so I don't lose my saliva. Okay, thank you very much. Marinika, I see you. I see everybody. So we've had 15 presidents rule this amazing country called Nigeria,
Hmm.
right? However, we have had 15 presidents or rulers or head of states who have actually mastered the art Not all of them, because if you go back in history, you will notice that those who actually intended to do good were taken out. If you know
Oh,
your history properly,
those
yes.
who intended to
Those who
do good.
intended to do good
Hmm.
were taken out
And what
because of
example
the
would
kind
you
of
give?
I think history. Okay, so there was, I know that what's his name? I don't know if it's was it Agui Ronsi now? Yeah, Mauritala Mohammed was taken out. There was a coup. Mauritala Mohammed
But
was taken out.
Murtala Mohammed was a general, so he's an army, he's not a
Most
civilian.
most of most of our rulers at that time, most of them were major generals, right?
Yes,
The
because
civilians
they
weren't
hijacked the
civilians weren't
government
doing well.
basically.
Yeah, they weren't doing well, so they came. At some
Mhm.
point, these ones weren't doing well, they came again. But
Yeah.
however, the truth is, whether being civilian or being a military head of state,
Hmm.
one thing that has been perfected is the fact that they have constantly kept the people oppressed.
And why
They
is
have
this?
it feels like they have strategically oppress the people. And this is it really. Let's no big English, no, I don't have to be a lawyer, I don't have to be a political analyst or anything. Let's be real here. The
Okay.
bane of leadership, the bane of leadership really is applying yourself in a good and directed behavior. And in the heart of that is empathy.
You are speaking English, oh.
It's still not
Empathy.
English. Okay, sorry.
Empathy for a Nigerian leader? Really?
Not no. So let's put it this way. Before you become a leader, you are first a human being. And leadership starts from the home. Family.
What if the leader says that he didn't plan to be a leader, he was just thrown into it?
So what is your plan and your vision, Care? What's no
Vi-
really, what's the plan and
Queenette,
vision?
I don't like this. So vision.
Okay. Okay.
You're asking
No,
about vision.
really.
How many people have visions?
Okay,
A lot
so
of people don't have
okay,
vision.
so let's even go back. It feels like we insult the people who fought for our independence. Herbert Macaulay was on his way to, I think, for a meeting in Kano or so. On his way back, he was sick. That was because they had just released him from jail a couple of maybe days back because he went to tell he was fighting for something, and then he became very sick. It took a toll on his health, and he died. Are we
Okay.
talking about Antonio Nahoro here?
Okay.
They actually had good intentions for
Okay.
Nigeria,
Okay. So
but
what happened?
when
But Nigeria is very
that
religious. We pray
that
a lot. We do
religious
revivals.
religion and ethnicity will burn this country to the ground.
Oh wow.
Religion and ethnicity will burn Nigeria. We can't do that.
I
We
thought we
can't
were going
we,
to heaven. We are
no,
heavenly
we
bound.
can't. We can't do that. We can't keep bringing religion and keep bringing ethnicity at the forefront. It means we don't have a plan to rule the country forward. Let's seriously, I'm saying it, and it sounds like, but this is Nigeria. If you want to be a leader, if really, to be frank, all of the countries you see that you admire in the world, let's forget now that we're having the Trumps and the rest, right? The people who have ruled, it was one vision. It's not because they wanted to become
Vision.
dominators of the
You keep talking
world.
about
They ha-
vision.
you have to have a vision.
There's
The
just
country
one
has to have
goal.
a vision.
There's just one
You
goal.
to
It
loot and to eat and to destroy the
yes.
nation. No.
It seems like the goal is just to be absolutely powerful, such that whatever you say, people do it in tremor, and then be able to loot for your first, second, third, fourth generation. That's what it
That's
seems
what
like to me.
that's what
When you're
okay,
talking
so
about
this is
vision, I don't think I really want
okay.
to agree with that stance because it
Okay, so
seems
let,
like
let me ask let me ask you a question. Do we have to repeat a cycle of foolishness before we have wisdom? There's a history of foolishness going on. History of
okay.
foolishness for 60 years. Is it when we continue to repeat this cycle that we will not have sense?
Everybody's just trying to get their part of the national cake. Yes, national cake.
Okay, so that has gone on for too long. That is not the kind of country that we want,
You
right?
don't want to see
So,
the
like I
comment
said,
section. Someone said that they are stealing or looting for the 10th generation. That's from Morenike.
and it's the truth. So what's the so that's it still brings me back here. What's the vision for you to become a leader? And let's see.
Are you a
We always say
Nigerian?
I
You're
am a
talking about
Nigerian.
vision.
No, no,
Vision.
no.
Where?
See, it might sound like it might sound like, oh, you're just fantasizing. What do you mean by vision? But that's the truth. You need a vision. Let's see, Nigeria is even too big. Let's start from your home. Nigeria is too
Hmm.
big, sir. Let's start from your home. You say
Okay.
you want to rule the world, you want to become a leader, you want to rule the nation. How are you ruling inside your house? How are you ruling in your streets? How are you ruling in your community? How are you ruling in your
Well, some people
state?
might argue that they don't need to rule outside of their house. Their house is just, take
Then you
them to
have no
school,
business. You
send
have
them to the
no
best school.
business. You have no business being in leadership. You have see this, like I said, this I'm not here to speak English or I don't
You're
need to
already
be a lawyer.
speaking English, though.
I'm sorry, it's just who it's part of me, but it's going to be as it's black and white, right? I don't need to be all of these things to know what is right.
Are you
But
reading the
being
comment box?
I can't, Nigeria matured, but into foolishness, not wisdom. Yes, that's why I said we've repeated a cycle and history of foolishness. It's
Okay.
wisdom will not automatically come upon us because we have repeated a constant cycle for 60 years. Come on
Okay.
now. I mean, you can't be doing something so long. It's a mad, they say that a mad person continues to do something, the same thing, the same way, and expect a different result. You're mad. You can't be doing that. You
Okay.
can't do that. People say that Nigeria is young. I agree. But let's look at it. The crop of leadership is the problem.
The crop of
These people
leadership
didn't
is the problem.
it's the problem. These people didn't fill
Okay.
in the spot.
So what do you think that, okay, I don't want to ask you about solutions now because I'm still going to get to that. But I just wanted to quickly mention that in the last few weeks, a little over 2 weeks, the youth have risen up and they've started challenging these leaders for good governance. And they started with put an end to police brutality. That's the main focus, right? What do you think sparked the emergence of this movement, given the history of Nigerian youth being docile, or the Nigerian people? People were really caught by surprise that people could actually come out. So, what do you think broke the camel's back this time?
It takes one man, whether we like it or yes, it takes one man to cause a change. It
Okay,
takes one person
one
to
person
cause
to
a
cause
change.
a
It
change.
takes one
Okay.
person to cause a change.
Oh
You
well, we
see,
thought
all of
that
this.
Buhari was coming back to make a change.
Let's not even get into that part because really, if you knew your history, I was a little child when he ruled. I heard all the things that was said about it. I think his rule was him and I think it
Adiagbon,
was it
Sunday
and
Diagbon.
in Diagon. It was people suffered under that regime. A lot
So
of
why
people
did people
suffered
vote for him again?
because we are not students of history. If you go back to your history, the thing that is playing out played back in 1966. I wonder why a lot of us, yes, it's a surprise because you are now born in this generation to see.
Hmm.
But before you read, I'm not even sure all of us read, but some people read to see and to know that this happened. The Abba women riots, it happened then. The miners, when they complained that their wages were too, they killed all of them.
Oh wow.
They killed, yes. It has happened before. So it is the crop of the leader. That's why I'm still saying leadership, the bane of leadership is empathy. What kind of leader
When you call
what kind of
someone
a leaders are we?
major general, do you expect them to have empathy? And I still want you to answer the question of what do you think sparked the emergence of this current movement that we have?
I think it was time, you know.
Okay.
I think it was time. I think it was time. And I'm using my words carefully because, to be frank, for everyone listening, I'm glad you're here. This is not a sensational thing that we all just jump on because I have noticed, I have seen and read a lot of things. Everybody wants to speak. It's fine. Everybody has a right to their opinion, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But You cannot be shallow and have a conversation without facts and history.
Okay.
You can't do that, because sometimes we're of course we're vibrant, we just want to talk. So I think we should be careful, and I'm trying to use my words carefully.
So you think it was
Something
time for the emergence of this
it
movement?
was it was time.
Okay.
People were tired,
People were
and
tired.
it was time. It was, like I always say, if you don't wear my shoe and you don't know where it pinches me, you're not able to feel my pain. So when they've hit this, they've arrested somebody, because let's look at it. It was from police brutality. You
Okay.
hit somebody, he was extorted. He comes back and he tells you, and you're like, "Are you serious? Oh my God, sorry." Then if that happens to you, it doesn't not only happen to you, but they shoot your leg.
Hmm.
They shoot your leg, and you're like, "Ah, okay, I go manage them." You know. Then they kill your sister. You'll be on the
Hmm.
streets. You'll be screaming.
So you could
You'll
say
be
that it was
screaming.
accumulated anger
It
over
was
time.
it. It was a. We were sitting on at the edge of a keg of a gunpowder. It
Okay.
just tipped and everything happened. It was already happening. People were not talking. People were not
People were
saying
not
anything.
talking.
People were not
Okay.
talking. And it just spiraled down, and a lot of things happened. So I
Okay.
think it was time.
It was
Really, it
time.
was time.
And I
And
agree.
it was time, right? It was time
I
for that
when
to
I
happen.
first heard about the protest, that was the first time I actually saw it online that there was going to be a protest was around I think October 4. And I thought in my mind, I'm like, oh, I don't think this is going to fly. That's the thought that came to my mind. And then by October 7th, I started seeing people trooping out to the streets. I think the biggest one before it actually caught fire all over the nation was October 8th. And then since then, it's been growing bigger. There were protests in 13 states. And I just love one thing about this protest, the fact that it was peaceful and that the way people just organized, the way people rallied around the protesters, support from international, from local, everybody was on board. It was a beautiful thing to watch, just to see Nigerians come together for one purpose, to demand for end to the brutality of the police. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you was the fact that what do you think about a leaderless movement? Because that's something that has been flying around for this movement. It's been leaderless. The people say that they don't have a leader. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? What do you think? Where do you stand on this leaderless
Like
movement?
like every institution, their phases, and their
Mhm.
strategies and their what's the word, their faces and their strategies. At the beginning, the leaderless movement was perfect. It was a strategy. It was good, right? It was a good thing. However, the next phase in which we are entering, or in the next phase which we're supposed to enter, we're supposed to have leaders. We're not even supposed to have leaders. For me, I think that it would have been a situation where we have a governing body, right? A group of people, intellectuals, both, maybe people from the older generation and people from our generation, meet together like a pool of resource people,
Okay.
right? A pool of resource people. They can be 2010, however it is, but like a pool of a governing council, actually, right?
Mhm.
That's what that should have been the next phase. However, the mistake has been made, right? But
Okay.
the next phase is that we have a pool of people,
Okay.
a governing
Like a
council, right?
governing
A
council.
governing council, not just us, right? But
Okay.
there's so many people who are good with governance, who are not at the forefront, right?
Yes.
But you can adopt them into
You
into
can
here,
tap
because
them.
they have a they have, they have influence and all of that. So you have a governing council, and then you now say, these are the leaders we want, because the truth is, our unity is our immunity.
Can you say that
The
again?
Our unity is our immunity, because if we are scattered,
Hmm.
having that governing council is our center. And like Chino Achebe will say, things fall apart when the center cannot hold. Now, that governing council is our center, right?
Okay.
Then we now push and say, these are the leaders we want to push at the forefront because we're pushing them, we're selecting them now based on integrity and the fact,
Okay.
not because they are popular faces, no, based on integrity and because they are intelligent. Because you can only fight this with intellectual insurgents. That's the truth. It's not,
Wow.
yes, it has
Yeah,
to come from here.
I understand the concept of having a governing council, but then the question now is how are you going to bring people together? How are you going to select who is supposed to be part of that governing council? I see some people flashing around Youth Democratic Party. I'm not sure if it's registered or if it's just a name that is being thrown around. There are a lot of things that we need to think about in terms of strategy and organizing, but I love what you said that our unity is our immunity, because when we are united, then it's hard for outsiders to kind of like penetrate. But then I saw a map that made me so worried this week, and I think I shared the map on my Facebook already, and I shared it with some of my friends. It does seem like there's a divide between the north and the south, such that the protests were actually more active down south, and you find out that there's almost no protest in the north. Yes, I know that they are protesting in Kano, but I believe that that is very different from the protest against police brutality. So if we don't have the northern youth on board, how do you think we can actually make this change happen?
Okay. If you have practiced the strategy of oppressing people for a long time, I mean, I would not want to. I wouldn't want to be in your bad books, would I? I wouldn't want to be in your bad book. So there's no way I will come out. There is no strong voice in that part in the north that will stand up, except if what Abuja to me is not the north, right? The northern part is from Kanu, Sokoto, Zamfara, and the rest. You don't have people there, Jos and the rest.
Okay.
But because it's, how will I call it now? We have a messianic kind of leadership. Yes, that's the word.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
when
absolutely.
where you feel this is my Messiah, I can't go against my Messiah. Do you
So how do you
understand? So
educate people out of that mindset? Because
okay,
that's a
good.
precarious place to be when you think that one person is your all in all, and that no one else can do it, or no other region can be trusted, and all those things about tribalism, ethnicity. It just makes the task look insurmountable.
A friend of mine was having a live this morning, and he said something which was very absolutely phenomenal, and I like it, and I'm going to say it. He talked about Project 774, which is basically local government takeovers, right? And
Okay.
he said the only way you can make a difference really is when you start getting into the local government. Now
The
that brings me
grassroots.
to, yeah, maybe that brings me to what I said earlier. How do you govern in your house, in your streets? It
Okay.
sounds like Nigeria is a big, it's Nigeria now, it's leadership. It starts from the home. The
Okay.
security man at the gate, what's your relationship with him? That's your grassroots.
I
You
paid him
know where
already.
you
I'm
don't
just trying to
worry.
see the other side.
I know it's okay. You've paid him, right? And that's
Yes.
it. He's not a human being.
Yeah,
That's it. So
it's a
because you
business
have paid him.
relationship. Why should I have
Oh
any other type of
wow.
relationship
Oh
with him?
wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Did you know the people? Are you aware that the person who took the hit on Muritala Mohammed was his was his bodyguard, was like his right, was the person next to him?
That was in the
Was it?
olden days.
Oh really?
Hmm.
It's still happening. It's still happening. You see, that child of you see the child of your cook,
Mm.
right? That you don't give attention to. That when you are going out, you tell him, shoot, you drive him away from the glass. We'll grow up one day. I will be
Hmm.
the one to point a gun at you. Don't worry. It's a
No,
job, it's a
God forbid.
transaction.
God forbid. God forbid.
Oh, really? Don't
Yes.
worry. It's okay. See, I think that if we're Christians, let's face fact. God has zero tolerance for nonsense. Let's be, except we're reading different Bibles.
But I didn't do
Yes,
anything wrong. I paid my cook already, so I
God
actually
has
understand what
zero
we were talking about.
tolerance. God has zero tolerance for nonsense. Really, you
All
paid
right,
your cook,
Queenette, I
so
hear you. So, what of those who say that when the politicians are campaigning and you ask them for bags of rice, extensions, so you've already eaten the progress that you are asking for. So, is it really the politician's fault? Because if we have a budget to fix the road, it's going to cost us 500 billion naira, and I'm trying to get to that position. But when I come to you with ideas, you're questioning me, you're asking me, what do I have in my pocket? Right? So I go back to the drawing table. I say, you know what? Because I don't have anything in my pocket, and these people are asking me for something in my pocket, I would go and borrow 300 billion naira. I borrow the money, I buy all the goodies and whatever you want, I give it to you. When I get there, the first thing in my head is I'm going to recoup that investment that I made in you. And the money is not going to come from heaven. So I'll probably take it out of that 500 billion naira that has been earmarked for building roads. So you're left with 200 billion naira. And guess what? It's an investment. I have to make profit. So I'll take extra 100 as my profit. I'm left with 100 billion naira. And you want me to build the road? Yes, fine. I'll build the road. I build the road. A drizzle comes down. In 2 weeks, the roads are washed away. How can you then blame me? Who receives the blame here, Queenette?
I want to cry, but I cannot cry, and I want to be angry, but I can't be angry. So I'm going to try to answer the question properly. So that brings me back to, let me even ask all of us watching. How many of us know, wherever you stay in Lagos, Lagos, Abuja, wherever you are, be
Mhm.
sincere with me. Let me even read it. How many of you know your local governments? How many
Oh,
of you on this
all right.
thread now know
All
your
right.
local governments?
If you know your local government, put it in the
If you know your
comment
local
box.
government, put it there, say yes. When I mean no, not because you know it by name, you have seen it, you have gone there.
So someone
If
said
you know your local government,
I'm showing you the typical Nigerian mentality. Yes, the conversation has to
yes,
be
yeah.
balanced.
So let's take it back there.
Do you know your local
Let's
government
go
if
back
you're
to
watching? And if you've not shared this video,
yeah.
please do share with people. We are also going to be taking calls. So if you have any questions, the number is right there on the screen. If you want to contribute to this conversation, please call +1 484 534 8956. If you have my number, you can also call me on WhatsApp. I'll pick your call so that we can talk live and you can contribute to this conversation. If you want to contribute,
Okay.
dial +1 484 534 8956. The number is scrolling below. So some people say they know their local government. Ololade Lawal says, I do. Can you please write the name of your local government, where you reside? We're not asking for where you come from. And Shakira said,
Your local,
treat
see,
everyone.
I mean the local government you are staying right now, not Ekiti, and you are staying in Lagos. You live in Lagos. There's a
Okay.
local government in your region. Do you know that local government? Not the one where you come from back home in your village. No, the one you're living in right now.
Okay. Why do you
That's
need that
what I mean.
information, Queenette?
Okay, so that information, now let me go back to the project 774 that I said he talked about, which I think is absolutely fantastic, where
Okay.
everybody goes back to their, you go to the local government and you go and
Okay.
sensitize people. Now this is answering the question you talked about, a politician coming to give me extensions and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, let me take Morenike for example. Morenike says yes, she knows her local government, she's in a Tiosa local government. Okay,
Okay.
Morenike has been in a Tiosa local government for, let's say, she's been there for, she's been there for, let's say, 5 years, and very nonchalant, but she knows her local government, right?
Okay.
Let's not even say she's nonchalant. She's been in her local government, and every time she goes there, there are this set of people that she has to actually, educate every time she goes there, right?
So when you're
These are
talking
people.
about local government, do you mean going into the local government building or just going to the surroundings and talking to people?
You will go to see, it's not just only the building, you will go into the building to understand the workings.
Okay.
See,
So is she going
you
to be
will
knocking on doors, or how is she going to achieve this?
see. Okay, so let's take it from the people first. Let's take it from the people first, because most of the things we hear, most of the information we hear it on the streets, right? So you
Okay.
work with the people around, educate the people around you, educate them. Election is coming. Oh, how una take dey do election? Don't speak
Election
English. How
is
una
coming.
take dey
What
do
do you know?
election?
What do you know that you want to be
That's
telling
what
them that election is coming?
be okay. If you're talking about me now, I don't know.
No,
Okay, so let me even
I'm
use me.
saying that these
The
people that you are,
average Nigerian, the average Nigerian citizen, which is
yes.
true. But you're making me jump. Let me finish this question first.
Okay.
You have to go and educate people around you, which is true.
How?
You need to start. You need to talk to them about their rights. You need to talk to
Right.
them about their rights. You need to talk to them about laws and policies. Yes.
Lo-
And you that is going to talk, how well do you know the laws that govern you? How well do you know the legislative laws? How well do you know the policies? How well do you understand your constitution to
Queenette,
be
where
able
do
to
you
break it
live?
down to
Do you
tell?
live in Nigeria?
Oh, yes, I do.
I'm asking because you're talking about laws and policies. Who really cares about that?
How? I don't understand. The Bible is your instruction as a Christian. As a Muslim, the
Mhm.
Quran is your instruction.
What if
As
I'm not a
as
Christian
a
or
Bu-
Muslim?
as a Buddhist, you have the Gita. These things are your constitution. These
What,
things are
what,
your
what if I
manuals
just
that you
believe
use.
in the goodness of man?
In the goodness of what? You cannot live life like a worship. I mean, are you part of? I don't understand. They use you to balance the ecosystem. Is that why you were here? Is that
Well,
why
I'm
you're
not
here? No,
asking. I'm just
let's take
asking.
ourselves. No, let's take ourselves seriously. Really, I think what you see why they don't take us seriously is because we've been so docile and we've acted like
But you're
we
talking
don't
about
care.
policies and laws to someone that has not been paid salary. How can they listen and understand?
It is hard. It's not a
Okay.
lie. It is hard. It is very hard. Even me
Hmm.
that I'm talking to you said it is hard.
Okay.
But the truth is, they say that the truth will set you free, right? When you know. Why do you think that they said if you want to hide the truth from an African man, put it in a book?
Yeah,
Why
because
do you think?
it won't
Because he
read.
will never read it. We
Okay.
need to wake up now. We need to wake up now. If
Okay.
see the only way, see, you need to understand your history. Huh? To
But
know where
history
you are
has been
going to.
scrapped.
No, you need to understand your history to know where you are going to.
Okay.
You can't be talking now when you don't know what happened before. Because really, most of the things that are happening now happened before. You need to know your history. You don't understand the constitution, it is fine. Get by extension, you might know one lawyer or know someone. It's not hard. They just put it 17 subsection 1 subsection 2. Is what but just take your time and understand it. If you don't, how would you even you are shouting you know your right. What right do you think that you really have? What right do you know that you have? Really,
Well,
what right do you even know that the youth have do you
Kenneth,
even
I
know
think
that the youth
you're
have a
speaking
policy?
you're speaking in English and grammar, a lot of English and grammar. So, but I wanted to read the comment from Ifedakwa. She says that the average Nigerian wait for election because that's when they feel they can get something from the politicians. So they take advantage of that, collect these things from them. Once they get into power, it's only for their pockets henceforth. And that comment is on the screen. And this is the reality. But I'm also saying that how come the electorate then expect that when you've already collected something, how do you expect that politician to be able to deliver on the promises? Because guess what? Money does not grow on trees. That money that you're collecting before the election or during the campaign, it's meant to do something. You can't even challenge your politicians once you start collecting that money. You might not be collecting the money in terms of raw cash, but each time you collect a bowl of rice, an extension to be fixed to your ear. I saw that the last election cycle. I was gobsmacked. You collect fabric to put on your body, jewelry, whatever it is that you're collecting from those politicians. That's the road. That's the electricity that you're complaining about. So I agree that we need a lot of reorientation, but then how do people solve the poverty and hunger problem? There's so much poverty and hunger in the land. Someone that has not seen 5,000 naira in 1 year, if
Okay.
someone shows up and
Okay.
gives that person that 5,000 naira, it's very hard to say no. It's very hard. So
Okay.
this is
So
a
okay.
cyclical
So
problem. It's
this is
systemic.
it.
So this conversation is around nation building and what we can do as individuals, wherever we are, whether we are on ground, whether we are outside the ground, wherever we are, what can we do to solve this problem? Because this is a canker
Problem.
worm that has eaten deep into the Nigerian system.
The truth is the foundation. The foundation. Let's call it as it is. The
Okay.
foundation is destroyed. The foundation has been destroyed. And for you to, we all know that for you to erect a structure, you need a proper foundation. If the foundation is not, I'm not an architect, but if the foundation is not okay, I think I don't know the things you're going to have to do, but I think you're going to, you have to probably pull down the structure and then redo it again so that the foundation can be strong. So the foundation has been broken. It is decayed. See, the things that were done yesterday that seemed right, eh? Tomorrow will be wrong. The things that were done yesterday that seemed right, when you do them tomorrow, it's going to be wrong. You
Hmm.
have to be able to hold leadership accountable. Now you're talking of bag of rice and extension. Let's talk about you and I. You
Okay.
expect me, because you did me a favor, you
Hmm.
expect me to do the same favor for you. It's human.
Isn't that what life is
You
all about? Rub my back,
no,
I rub your back.
I would see. I have said it even before today, and God bears me, and anybody who knows me will know that I say this a lot. Before you need to do anything in Nigeria, you need to reorientate the minds of the people. If you do not, it is going to be useless. You see, this quality conversation you're trying to drive, it will not make sense. It won't make sense.
Yes.
I was listening to Olakule Shoriro, and and he made a lot of sense. And I think that way. Okay, I make my bed in a certain way. And I lay it so nice. I pour powder, I dust it off, I spray perfume, I put the pillows. Then I expect my maid to make the same bed the way I made it. You are doing well. You are doing well. That's exactly what was said.
Just show them. I want to read some comments because I think that there are some comments I absolutely love to read. And someone says that I think that's Titi Izwagi. She said that the truth is we really need to do wake up and be more intentional with our actions, which is so true. Ifedakwa says that we need to begin to hold our leaders accountable. And until we know our rights, we know what we deserve, then we can hold them accountable. I agree, but we also need to do better because I think also need to get to a point whereby when the leaders come and they offer these things, we need to start rejecting them. Titi
Who are
says
the
that
we?
if
Who
they
are the
give you
we?
wait, Titi says that if they give you 5K, collect it and vote for the right person. That's very easy to say, but let me tell you something. Even the Bible says that a man will do wrong for a piece of bread. It's not even the whole loaf of bread. A piece of bread. Do you know how much Judas, the Judas Iscariot,
Iscariot.
it betrayed
That
Jesus?
that was
That
somebody
was
he was dining with for
dining
30
with, that
for
was just
many
30 pieces
years.
of silver. There's something powerful about a bribe. It makes you
Oi.
call red. If you collect a bribe, it will make you call red green. You will begin to call purple yellow. That is what a bribe does. So I would not definitely encourage anyone to collect money from politicians and say that you are going to vote for the right person. Because guess what? Your brain is going to be telling you that right person is not going to give me anything. This one is giving me
So
something.
you and I know that we would not collect money from the politician. My
Yes.
security man does not know
But you are
that.
also talking about Queenette. You're talking about reorientation, which I don't have a
Yes.
problem with. But you've not answered how that reorientation is going to happen because there's a Yoruba adage that says, I'm going to try to translate it. It says, "Tí ebi bá wọnú, ọ̀rọ̀ mi kì í wọ̀." You cannot be reorientating an hungry man.
But
You cannot.
of course you can. So this is
Simple.
so this is
What's
it.
the plan
So
for
this
this
is it.
orientation you are talking
Your
about?
reorientate no the reorientation. See, if we create a program around incentives, right? Now I
Okay.
didn't say bribe. If you create a program or a structure
Okay.
around incentive, it makes a lot of sense, right? So I gather my people and I want to reorientate them and talk to them about certain things. You know, we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about what is my incentive? That vulcanizer down the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
I finished talking to him and I want to know his problem. Oga, what's the matter? Madam, you see this place that I am, blah, blah, blah. My incentive to him is okay, I probably will offer him a space. I'm not bribing him.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want us to understand. I offer him a space and say, okay, this is how I can help you. That lady that fries akara down the road says, madam, every time I'm staying here, rain is always beating me. I give her an umbrella. It is, see, I'm saying incentive. A
Okay.
woman is crying on the road. Oh, um, I don't the water, the people that used to supply me water, they don't come. I have access to people who supply water at a cheaper rate. Incentive. I
Okay.
get them to supply them. Everybody knows somebody that can do something.
Okay.
We all can in our little way. So you see those people, incentives will help them.
Okay.
You necessarily don't have to bribe them. You are giving somebody incentive and you are saying that, oh, you know that if you do this, come down to their level. You know that if you do this, this is what will happen. Do you know that this is your right? You know, say if you do I'm like this, now this what this, and they're like, but for years, I agree. But you don't want to make your children black. Yeah, you have to meet them at their pain points. Incentives will work. And then again, there's so much negativity. We spill so much negativity into the land. I see, you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you probably don't believe in God, but there's something called laws of attraction. Whatever you say will come. You
Mm.
can't be saying that I want a beautiful Nigeria or I want beautiful leader, and every day of your life you keep saying, this Nigeria will not kill somebody. It's about to.
I love the thought of incentives and I want you to hold that thought. But I also wanted to read some of the comments. Ifedako says that America was founded on great and powerful tenets, and that guides them till today. Because you know
Okay,
why? Because
values,
those men were ready to lay their lives. How many Nigerians
values,
are ready to lay their lives?
values.
Titi says that the expectation for people to do good for you in return for the good you do to them is a natural thing. We only draw the line when it violates the rules of organization or country. That's another thought. Maybe I need to bring Titi on this show to explain what she means by that. I
Natural
absolutely agree
thing.
with Morenike. Morenike says that an hungry man will not listen to you. And that is so true. And I also love what you propose, give them incentives, but the person that is also given incentive, that means that the person has the mindset to lift that other person out of that
That's why
condition that
I
they have.
said
And
initially the
those
bane
people,
of leadership is empathy. What kind of leader are we looking for? Someone that has integrity, not
I,
somebody that.
I
Come
understand,
now.
I understand that the bane of leadership is incentives, is empathy. I understand that. But do you know that the concept of leadership for a lot of Nigerians means that I'm the president? It's just a title, it's just a position. Not a lot of our leaders see leadership as an act of service. So when we're talking about leadership, we're talking about servant leadership. And as Christians, if you're a Christian, the Bible says that he who wants to become the greatest will first become the least. A lot of people don't have this mindset. I agree with you,
Okay.
Queenette, that people need
I
to, we need to help people in their minds to reorientate people. So my own thing is that it's not limited to those people on the street or those people that will feel that they are not financially capable. This reorientation we are talking about, it's about every Nigerian,
it's no
whether
the
you are
orientation
educated.
is for everybody,
Yes.
but it's for everybody. So it's easier for probably the educated. So for example, if I were to talk to Veronica about something, she would easily buy into it because her mind is open, right? She's
Mm,
exposed. Titi will buy into it. The hungry man, my vulcanizer, my gatesman, they might not listen. It might take me more effort and time to continue to explain to them and say, this is how it is. Now, let's
Hmm.
come to leadership. I talked
Okay.
about messianic kind of leadership, which is what we've always had. Now you're talking about selfless, which we probably call solicited kind of leadership, which is the example Mandela actually showed. A leadership away from yourself, a leadership that is value driven. I can't
Okay.
remember the country now. I actually said I was going to find out before I get on the show. I can't remember the country now. They actually have the tenets of their country written down, and it immediately gets into the country. It is there.
Do
This
we
is
even
what
have one like that in Nigeria, other
we
than the
call it
national
our
anthem and the
we call
pledge?
it our constitution. We call it our constitution. It is written there, so they know that this is the things that drive this nation. They know that to be part of this nation, you have to have empathy. To be part of this nation, you have to have a good heart. We look out for
So
each
that's
other.
like a list of affirmations,
Not,
basically.
no, this is not even affirmations. It's not. You're not saying it so that you can remember. It is the things that you do. You are driven by. That's why I said leadership is. It is applying yourself. It is something that is applicable. You are doing it. You are actually showing and directing the behavior that you preach. You are not just saying I'm a good person, but you are directing and applying it and showing people that this is what I'm doing. So you have to get away from that self kind of leadership. It has to be selfless. And if you're not
Leadership
practicing
is
it
what
on
is the
your
meaning of
own,
leadership. Leadership is by wearing flowing garments and having bodyguards
no,
left
there
and
should
right.
if that's what you think.
Is that
See,
not what leadership means?
see, if really, like I said, this is not about grammar. Like I said, really, if you really want to solve the problem, if Nigeria, I feel like crying, honestly. If you were touched here, if Nigeria meant anything to you, if you really, really wanted progress, you would be a leader that is selfless. Because the bane of it is empathy, integrity, and
But
value.
but
Because
I'm
really, if you're
selfless. I
driven,
already gave I already gave the son of my daughter's cousin. I already gave her the position of PAMSEC. And then that man that gave me money during election that donated to the party, I already gave his children to be the head of the national corporation for whatever. So what else does selfless mean? I already settled the people that matters. What selflessness are you still talking about, girl?
honestly, like, give me a second. It's sad. I'm not joking. Like,
All right, while I
hearing
give
the,
you a second, because
no, no, no.
we're running fast out of time,
Okay.
I'm going to read some of the comments. Titi says that the reorientation for the ugly man is to create awareness that is no longer business as usual, it is action. And that's why we need a leader that will put his feet down. Incentives and bribes, they are thin lines, really.
Incentive is
Morenica
not
says,
bribe. It's the same
I
way
like
as
what
lobbying.
Morenica says. Morenica says that another thing is coming to the people's level. Yes, like Queenette said, yes, you have to come to people's level. When you get to certain places, that's not the time for English. Just come to their level. People will listen to you when you influence them and you show you care. Titi says responsibility, accountability, patriotism. Patriotism is hard, especially in a country like Nigeria where there is no justice. Imagine the, everyone is denying that something happened on Tuesday. We've not even covered all the things that we're supposed to cover in this live session, and we are almost running out of time. I want
We
to take
will
a quick break
continue.
now.
We're not going anywhere. We will be
Yes,
here.
let's take a quick break now. Please don't go anywhere because we still have lots to discuss. Thank you.
Hello, sweet.
Hi, babe. What's the matter with you? What are you looking for?
Where is she?
She what?
Where did you hide her?
I don't understand. Don't you trust
Where
me?
did you put the girl? Where's the lady?
I don't understand what you're saying.
I know the smell of your house. What I perceive is quite different. It's charming, it's alluring, it's sweet, it's acting. Where is she?
Okay? This she.
She?
Yes.
How? She? Feminine? Nice. Where did you get this from?
Got it from a friend.
Nice one.
Yes. You can use Femnit's air freshener to get your girlfriend jealous?
Seriously?
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Sean Akinloton, and today we're talking about your role in nation building. With me is Queenette Enilama. Before we went on break, we were talking about what it takes to reorientate the minds of the people. And I also said that if you wanted to call in, you can call in. The number is scrolling at the bottom for contributions. Just dial +1 484 534 8956. If you have my number, you can also call me on WhatsApp. I'll pick your call and we will be able to take your contribution. All right, let's have Queenette back. Welcome, Queenette. So now on Tuesday, October 20, Queenette, a day that has now been described as Black Tuesday. Aura was unleashed on peaceful protesters at the Lekki toll gate. No one, including the government, has taken responsibility. How does that make you feel in a quest for a better Nigeria?
I feel really bad about it actually. However, the truth is, because of everything that's surrounding that particular situation, right?
Mhm.
I had to. I'm sorry, like I'm not trying to be proud. Like I'm a student of history. I had to go back to go and check, if things like this have happened before, because I never imagined in my wildest dream that it will happen. And history is replaying itself again. History is replaying itself again, and the blame is being moved from. Nobody's even owning up to say this was done or this wasn't done, and it makes you feel like there's something Pastor Bojo says which makes which is actually true. I can't find the words, but I'll explain. He says when you become, it feels like you are intellectually inept. You know that this happened, but you can't do anything about it because it feels like they're making you, when
They're making you question your
when they're
sanity.
gaslighting you, making you feel like this didn't happen. You know that it happened, but you are not sure anymore what it is. That's the point where we have gotten to. That's why I said it is a system that has strategically mastered the game of oppression.
Okay, so now that the youths have been dispersed and everyone has gone back home, do you still think that that momentum can be sustained? Or, what do you think can be done to keep the momentum high and such that people can still remember that the struggle is far from being over?
Oh well, like I said, they're different. Every strategies have different phases and different. There's always a different phase and what to do. Will they would the momentum continue? Yes. So if you go back now and keep quiet, when I say keep, I don't mean make noise and come out anymore. No, if you go back and you are strategic, come up with plans, right? But before we come up with plans, we have to be united because from what I see, from what I read, I see a lot of
Division.
divisions happening. And once there's a division, it will not drive home what we're trying to achieve, right?
That's
So
true.
it won't drive home what we're trying to achieve. So I think that, like I said initially, I think it is time to have a governing council.
Okay.
One, let's have a governing council. If it's a 24-man sitting panel, and like I said, before we choose these people, they don't have to be popular. You have to put people, see, funny enough, it's like something that you say most of the time, like have a business plan, like have a blueprint. That's the word, yeah. Have a blueprint of what you want. So have a governing council of 24. Let's say there are 24 people, men
Okay.
with integrity, right? Men who are intelligent, people who have integrity, somebody who is from the street, who understand, who is credible, who has credibility. Let that person be on the panel. Let's form that panel. That should be the first thing we do. Secondly, I will go back to the project 774, which is very interesting. The fact that I heard it today and it made a lot of sense. Yes, everybody go drive this thing in your local government. Go to your
Okay.
local government. Go be part of, in fact, volunteer to work with them.
Hmm.
Volunteer once a week. Go and work with them and see what's going on. Volunteer with them for 6 months. Before you know it, you'll be making, see, it's, I think, well, we have it, we are vibrant. We want things to change overnight. It's not gonna happen. Ask,
Yeah.
if you've ever watched The Men Who Built America, you will learn this from them. Volunteer in your local government. In fact, once a week, go and find out what they do, how they do it. You are the one who is technologically savvy, and if you see
Mm-hmm.
that they're still going by the paper, help them to collect data. Let that be your work. You do it once a week. They just wait that, and you are there. And because your ears are on the ground, they will definitely talk to you, right?
Hmm.
So the first one, let's have a governing council. Let's do the 774. Got everybody across the states in Nigeria, all the youth, penetrate all the local governments. Just be entering there,
Mm-hmm.
and lend your voice, volunteer. That's one. Number two, the reorientation starts. You want to get into communities, you want to start talking to people, you want to you want them to understand and see from your perspective. No speaking English, like Morenike said, we're not speaking English. You're going to come down to their level. If it's Yoruba, they understand, you speak Yoruba. If it's Pidgin, they understand, you speak the Pidgin for them, right? Now, in doing this, you're actually building institutions, because human beings, the most valuable institution that you can ever think of is the human soul. And so, once you're able to get all these people who are responsible and all of that, trust
Mm-hmm.
me, you have actually taken the government away. You don't see, you don't have to fight to say it. You have succeeded in, you know, clearing them out of the way. It's going to take a while.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a part to play. It's going to
I
take a
agree
while.
with you. I agree with you.
You
And I have
understand?
a follow-up question. So now I hear you, Governing Council, Project 774, go out there. We're not talking about funds. How are these programs going to be funded? Because the truth of the matter is you need money for all those things. And from what we've been hearing so far, some of the money that have been donated to this current protest are actually money that might prevent you from doing the right thing, if you know what I mean. What are the sources of this money,
That
and
that
what
that that
level of
that's why
accountability are we bringing to the table? We
the
don't
the
have
set
time.
of people.
We don't have time. I really wish that we have time. And I'm already seeing some comments here that I would even love to bring Morenike, yes, Morenike on the group as well, on the show as well. And if Feda was saying she would have loved to call in. So what do we do? Because we don't have time. Should we continue or should we schedule for next time?
No, let's continue.
Let's continue.
Let's continue. Yes, continue. It's fine. Let's
Okay.
continue.
All right. So I said that I was talking about funding. I want you to answer that question about funding. And I also wanted to ask about, because the protests have been rocked with fightings and looting, and some people say that those are sponsored people to make it look like the protesters are fighting. And then what really got to me was the looting of goods and properties. We have businesses that they're still struggling to find their footing, and you have people breaking into those businesses, which makes me really sad. What do you make of all this, Queenette?
Let me read something from Burna Boy's song. I can't sing the song. The song is playing, so I might not be able to get the lyrics right. Let me say what he said. Calling me a monster, calling me a monster, calling me fake. No way, no way. Calling me a monster because I said, right? Um, you you have created monsters. Now they have come to attack you. You have created monsters. Now they have come to attack you. Whose fault is it? When you constantly put people, you constantly oppress people, you're constantly mirroring something that is terrible to someone, and
Hmm,
they're actually doing it, but at the back of their mind,
hmm,
they are just saying, if I could just get into your car, if I could just wear what you're wearing. And now,
hmm,
because they're not even educated, and education is not about going to school. Oh. Education is
Hmm.
beyond school. It's not school. They're not. When your mind is open, you don't. It's here in this country that we say you must go to school, have PhD, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really not. That's not education because they're
So
not
what is
educated. Because they're
education?
ah, to me, there's a definition that Olakunle Shorinyo has that is absolutely fantastic. I can't.
Tell me
I
about
can't
it.
see. Education is what you teach yourself. That's how I will put
Is what you
it.
teach
Education
yourself.
is
What
what
if
is the
someone says that I
it
already
is
know
the
enough?
experience. It is the experience. You can never know enough. Nah, it's not possible.
What do you mean I can't know enough?
You can't.
I've been
What do
reading
you
all
mean?
my life and I decided to retire from reading and learning. Now it's time for me to enjoy. What are you talking about?
You can't know enough. You can't even retire from learning because research shows that when you stop reading, you have early dementia. So
And well, I don't need to read. I can just observe, my everyday
it's
experiences. They are teaching
so
me.
so it's experiential. So you have the right to now say, yeah, I think this is how you put it. You have the right to now tell yourself that these are the options that I want to pick and these are the things that I want to I want to go by because you believe in it. So education, it's opening your mind. So when you educate these people and say, don't do it this way, this is how it is, make them see reasons with you. This thing that happened will not have happened. But it is unfortunate that it has happened, really.
Okay, Queenette,
It's really
let's talk about let's move on. Let's move on because this is interesting, but I also think that we need to move on. Let's move on to fake news. There are there are
now
lots of
I'm reading the comments that made me laugh. Said Nigeria looks like matters of the heart.
it's
It
actually
is.
a matter of the art, and I believe that we are in it together, so we need to rub minds and talk about these things. Queenette, let's talk about fake news. Someone sent something to you on WhatsApp. What is the first thing you're supposed to do before you send it to someone else?
Okay, talking about me now. So you send me a message.
Yes.
I read it.
Mm-hmm.
Like me that I am, I go to Google.
Okay.
I read it on Google. And like me that I am, I go to YouTube. I go and
Okay.
watch it. Right?
Okay.
And I'm not one to easily forward messages, quite frankly, because I'm a bit careful. But however, I actually have to. I always verify what I am given, and my verification portal might be very little because I just go to Google and I go to YouTube and then I check to see how true it is. But I am not quick to
Okay.
jump on it and send it out. I am not quick to jump on it and send it out. No,
Okay. So
because
let me paint a scenario for you, Quinette, because we always say that life is not black and white, and there are a lot of gray areas. So let's say, for example, someone has been accused of stealing. That person was accused of stealing. It's all over the major news media. And you actually went to that person's social media profile, and all the comments you see there talks about stealing. Would that make you inclined to want to share that information that truly this person actually stole? Would you think about what the circumstances are and what type of research would you do when you're convinced that the major news channels in the country that you're living in are carrying the news? Of course, a lot of news channels would say allegedly. They won't use the word outrightly, right? They would say he allegedly stole, they use that word allegedly or supposedly. Would that still make you inclined to take that information in as true after doing your Google search? Because Google can sometimes be misleading, and that's why I'm asking this question.
okay, so this is based on the kind of person that I am, right?
Mhm.
And I would always say on my honor, on my integrity, because really that's what I have. And most of the things I say, it's not a popular opinion, and so a lot of it doesn't sit well with a lot of people, and maybe that's why I am. That's why I am me, right? So you have said that this person did this, right? Me, let me come to me. Oh, I don't think that I would go ahead and still label that person as a criminal or as a thief. No, because patterns reveal who a person is. the person's patterns. You want to go back
Like that
and check who this person is.
person
It is,
is.
you can judge people from their patterns, not from their
Hmm.
words.
Yes.
How did this person behave in 1922? How did this person behave in 1956? How did this person behave in 1981? How did this person behave in 1920? Do you understand? When you see a recurring thing, then
Pattern.
you'll be able to
You'll be
make a
able to.
deduction. That's
I
why I said we have to be intelligent in our decision and in the
But a
things
lot
we say,
of
and we need
people
to.
they act on impulse. So they see something, they press that share right away, they blast it to groups, they blast it on social media. What do you think can be done to curb this menace called fake news? Because if we don't curb this menace, it's
Always,
going to crush us down.
there's actually a group called I think media literacy, MLI or something. I
Okay.
know that I know that I belong to that group. MLI coalition in Nigeria, media in literacy, and they actually teach you and they actually educate people about fake news and the consequences behind it, because really there's a penalty for it.
Hmm.
Before you post anything, they will ask you how true is this? What is the source? Okay, so they say it's true, but you are saying, is it like, can we go further? Of course, most of them are probably journalists, they're probably investigative journalists. So
Mhm.
there's actually a law that is around fake news. So we all
Okay.
have to be careful.
Careful
But
in
then
what
again,
we
it's yeah, we
spread.
all have to be careful. Then again, if it's coming from, it's like you knowing the truth, but the powers that be are telling you that is not. So how
Yes.
do you fight?
How do you fight? Tell
Right?
me about
How
it.
do you fight? That, that's another thing. I honestly don't even know. How do you even begin to fight that cause?
Well, there are so many unanswered questions. Shakira says that verify the source, which is basically what you said already. Now, Queenette, because we're talking about your role in nation building, and when I say your, it means you and I, and it means everyone that is watching us right now. So I want you to give me three things that you think that we can all do to build this nation. Three actionable steps that we can take right now, right this second, that would help us to contribute to building the nation. Because if we don't build our nation, nobody is coming to build it for us.
But I thought I had actually said, I think I had said that in part of what we were saying. So part of nation, what is nation building? We all want Nigeria to be better,
Yes.
and and they say, like, one of my mentors would say, Barrister Tawa Kilami, he always say, before you can build the nation, you need to build your house. Before you, and when you're done building your house, you build your street. When you finish building your street, you build your community.
So,
When you
in
build your
other words,
community,
charity begins at home.
yes, it's not, you see, all these things sounds very funny and very fickle, but you see, these are the things that lead up to when you get up here.
Hmm.
These are the things that lead up to when you get up there. You know, sometimes, let me even talk about children. Sometimes we say that, oh, he's still a child. You wait for the child to become an adult before you begin to instill certain values, forgetting that the formative years of a child is between 0 to 6. So
Hmm.
whatever you do not put then is going to be a struggle for you when the
When
child
they grow
is becoming an
older.
adult. Yes, and that's the same thing that happens to us. So how do you how do you act? What's your role in nation building? How many
Hmm.
of us actually have registered? How many of us have registered and we have our PVCs, or we just
Hmm.
talk about it? That's your right as a
Hmm.
citizen.
As a citizen. But some people
Do
have
you have it?
complained about the process being an arduous task to get
It
your
is.
PVC. Okay, you
It's not even a
register,
lie.
and then they say
It
it's not
is.
ready. You know, all the politics that surrounds that. So, and then sometimes it might even be that on election day you can't vote, but you're still saying that
Yes, you
no
don't.
matter what you go through, you should still get your PVC.
But then again, you know that Nigerians, we actually like last minute rush. We like to do fire brigade approach. Yes,
Okay.
the government has their issues. We have our issues. Now
Okay.
remember when they were talking about national ID card? Apparently
Mhm.
they had been announcing it on the news for years, and a lot of people did not hear it. So let's just
There's
say
no
the
light
news.
now. How can we listen to the news? There's no light.
That's you saying there's no light. They expect you to have lights.
I'm not a
See,
magician.
well, you see, in order for you to make this change, you have to go through this process, right? We have to go through this painful process. Let's get our card, let's get everything, so that we can now get in there, and then we can now begin to make the change, right? So sometimes the process is very painful. It's the truth, it's really painful. So go get your PVC, make
Mhm.
sure you vote.
Make
Don't
sure
wait,
you vote.
make sure you vote. Let it be on your conscience that this is the person I voted for, and have legit reasons why you are voting. Then again, go to your local constituency, your local government. If you want to go back home, no problem.
I have a
Go
lot
there.
of questions. As you're speaking, more and more questions are dropping into my mind, but unfortunately, our time
It's
cannot
okay.
accommodate all the questions. Thank you very much, Queenette. I have just one more question for you before you leave, and that is, are you ready to throw your hat in the ring? Because we can talk about all the solutions if we're only orientating, educating, changing our mindsets, but if we're not throwing our hats in the ring, then are we just about talk, no action?
Me, I was born ready. I'm
Hey!
not see. I'm not even joking. I was born. See, I see. You know, in hindsight, when you say a lot of things that you've been through and a lot of processes that you have gone through,
Mm-hmm.
you just laugh. Now you laugh and say, okay, maybe it was because of this, right?
Okay.
You don't have to see. You don't have to occupy a ministerial position or a political position to drive effective change.
Change. Okay.
You don't have to. I have been doing that in my own little corner,
And you're doing a
and I've
great
been.
job at that, especially with the kids.
Thank you,
And
thank you
I
so
heard from the
much.
grapevine that you were teaching them Nigerian history. Who does that?
Yes,
Like,
you
seriously,
have
who
to,
does
because
that?
they cannot be lost. They need to understand that. See, you unconsciously, we're raising a generation that feels like when you're in a position of authority, you oppress people. That's what your
Hmm.
children are saying. Yes, that's what
Hmm.
they see. Like, when I'm in a position of authority, I have to oppress people. So it means that leadership is oppression, even in your homes. That's the same way we treat our children. Because your
Hmm.
daddy and your mommy, you have the right. So your children feel like, okay, so when you're in a position of authority, you oppress people. Every other person is your subject.
You remind me of, when we were younger and when the parents are not home, the kids will start playing daddy and mommy. They say, let me be daddy and let me be mommy. And it's so interesting to watch the perspective of daddy and mommy from kids. And you're like, wow, I better be teaching my kids the right thing, because if it keeps going on this way, that's not a good sign. That's not a good thing at all. So, yes, you're born ready. I'm happy to hear that. What else would you like to say before we call it a day in 30 seconds?
In 30 seconds. So, if you want to be a leader, right? Be a
Mm-hmm.
leader who has no title, right?
Hmm.
Be a leader who has no title, but you
Okay.
are full of the responsibility for the change you are pursuing.
This
Be a
grammar
leader
is
that has be a leader that has no title.
okay. Be
Be
a
a
leader
leader
that has no
that
title. I,
has
I
no
think I can
title.
remember that. I can
Yes.
remember that very well. Be a
And
leader that has
because
a
that
title.
has no title, you have a responsibility. That responsibility is to pursue that purpose.
Hmm.
Your responsibility is to pursue the purpose. So it will be said, it will be is it each or X now? I don't even know. My English is not, it's not gathering well. It will be said in history that this is what you did, and you would
And you did your
always be
part.
remembered, and you would always be remembered for it. Yeah. So be a leader that has no
Absolutely.
title. Don't be a
Wow.
bad Samaritan. Be a good Samaritan.
Be a leader that has no title. Thank you so much, Queenette. Thank you for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure. To everyone that tuned in, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And until next time, be exceptional, be intentional, and be on point. Bye bye.